a huge shout out because we are totally stealing from one that we love, the fantasy footballers. It used to be a secret. Saylor and I once, and in the old league, we had said some kind of nickname or some kind of like inside joke, and we were like, "Wait, you listen?"
Yeah, Arlen, I still have the nickname T-shirt that you bought me a while back, and I think we traded for some kind of probably wager. I think I bought you a mug and you got me a T-shirt. But yeah, love those guys. And shout out to them. They're the best and the greatest. I like listening to them honestly. Just like I feel like they're my friends, even though they have no idea who I am, never will. But they are my best friends, and so if you're listening, can't wait to see you guys, and love you. Bye.
Yeah, and finally return my calls.
Yeah, listen, it's been 30 emails.
Sounds like it's the pod that you listen to make sure that we're not right when we're talking.
Welcome back to another week of Live Good DyNasty, and we've got Nate as always in the house, myself, Arlen, and this week we've got a fun episode with a very special guest, one of our league mates, Saylor. And Saylor used to do a podcast a couple years ago with me with our previous league. What up, Saylor?
Hey, how's it going?
I don't particularly like the idea that you had previous leagues. I know
you don't like me to talk about it much.
I feel like we had
the one
agreement.
league you're not in. I know. It's wrong of me.
And you're actively cheating on me still.
But you're the latest, you're the best, you're the greatest. It's okay. We're just the old. We're the old deal. It's fine.
You've
You've
got
a hard
the
time
best
letting go.
leagues.
It's fine.
No, glad to be here, guys. Having a lot of fun. Yeah, I love listening to you guys. A lot of fun. You guys give great advice. I'm just happy to be able to be a part of this and have a good time. Shout out to what you're doing and what you guys are trying to accomplish here. So, those who are listening, make sure that you like and subscribe like I have. So you can get on there and make sure that you're hearing the latest and the greatest from these two geniuses.
Man,
I'm just kidding. They have no idea what they're talking about.
This bar has
But
got it like the bar.
it's a lot of fun to listen to them and have no idea what they're talking about.
There it is.
No, I appreciate it, man. We got a few things we're going to hit through because we want to get your opinions on some of the takes that we've had over the last few or couple months recording a few episodes here. So we want to get a couple of the more outlandish takes and just see your opinion in general. If you have any takes you're throwing out there, we can touch base on it. But the meat of the show this week is something I've been excited about. I'm going to give another podcast a huge shout out because we are totally stealing from one that we love, the fantasy footballers. It used to be a secret. Saylor and I once, and in the old league, we had said some kind of nickname or some kind of like inside joke, and we were like, "Wait, you listen to?" And for years, we kept it a secret. Sorry, guys, but we kept it a secret because we felt like it was such an advantage. And then I just realized this year, I don't think it's a secret anymore. Anyways, they're like the number one sports podcast, or number two now next to the Kelseys. So it's probably not a secret anymore, and I can probably be talking about it. But they do this thing called the mock draft mayhem, which we're going to be getting into this evening.
Yeah, Arlen, I still have the nickname T-shirt that you bought me a while back, and I think we traded for some kind of probably wager. I think I bought you a mug and you got me a T-shirt. But yeah, love those guys. And shout out to them. They're the best and the greatest. I like listening to them honestly. Just like I feel like they're my friends, even though they have no idea who I am, never will. But they are my best friends, and so if you're listening, can't wait to see you guys, and love you. Bye.
Yeah, and finally return my calls.
Listen, it's been 30 emails.
Sounds like it's the pod that you listen to make sure that we're not right when we're talking.
I gotta say also, every time I take a sip of my drink and I see myself in the shot, it does look ridiculous. I should just not mention what it is the whole episode, but it's an adult root beer float. That's what I had left, guys.
I love that he was like, I will not mention what this is, and then immediately describes the drink.
Well, I thought that it was weird if I truly didn't mention. But so let's jump right into the hot takes that we've had. One of the hottest takes it's starting to cool down. Yeah. More people are starting to get it. But Lad McConkey, we have a bet, Nate and I, that Lad McConkey, I say Marvin Harrison, Captain Marvel, will be over him in receptions. Specifically, Nate says Lad McConkey will lead all rookies in receptions this year. Are you taking it or are you leaving it?
I'll leave it. I don't know. I mean, I think Justin Herbert came out strong his rookie year, but has cooled down quite a bit over the last few years here. And with Harbaugh coming in there, he's a run first kind of guy. He's going to want to come in there. He's going to want a strong defense. He's going to want to run the ball. He's talking up Herbert a lot. McConkey's a good player, but I don't see it happening. I mean, you got Harrison coming in, Kyler Murray, who's coming off of a great end of the year, and I know that the Chargers have literally no one else to give the ball to. I just can't see it happening.
Oof.
Yeah, I was
right.
far from calling it a lock, but it is my spicy take. I will say that like when I
It was a
said
hot take. And you
no
said
one
it.
was saying it, and then all of a sudden, Field the 8 says it, and now everyone's like,
the
yeah,
same week. I don't know.
yeah, like later that week he says it.
Field Yates, a known subscriber to the podcast here.
Well, now we know. Now we know.
We're letting all the cats out of the bag.
I'm gonna go for the next one here down the list a little bit, and let me know if there's anyone that you want to call out, Saylor. But I made a bet with today Eli because he was up in Zamir White quite a bit, and our bet is he says Henry plus Zamir White will score more fantasy points than Kyren Williams and Barkley this year.
Wait, I need you to repeat that again.
Zamir White and Henry will score more points combined than Kyren Williams and Barkley.
I'm not buying it. I'm not in on Zamir White. I just don't think that
I'm not either.
He's going to get. Yeah. I still think he's going to get the load that people are thinking he's going to get. Everyone's kind of living off the hype that Josh Jacobs came in with the Raiders, and they're thinking that that offense is going to produce the same thing every year with whatever running back is in that position. But I think Zamir White is that guy. I don't think he's going to do it. Derrick Henry. He is the king. He's the Yeti. He is one of the greatest.
He's infinite.
He is all. He literally is a man of men. But he is on an offense that is, the number one running back is Lamar Jackson. And so you're hoping that Henry is going to get into the end zone, 10, 11, 12, 13 times, if plus this year, and hoping that he's got the yards left in his legs to keep it going. But
20 was Eli's call.
20. That doesn't surprise me. That's definitely an Eli call. But I think it's going to be hard to beat Kyren. It's also hard to trust a Rams running back.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that Kyren is a strong player and had a great year last year, but I don't think they really have any indication to any player, whether it be Jared Goff or whether it be Kyren Williams. So we'll see what happens here in 2024, but it should be I think an exciting matchup between that group of players.
Yeah, I'm personally hoping for the Walker last year at Seattle, and like everyone's afraid that he's going to lose to Charbonnet, and for Etienne losing to Tank Bigsby, was it? Yeah, and so I'm hoping for that with Corum and Kyren Williams, but
I'm still holding out on Tank, Betty. If you want, I'll put a trade in right now if you want to trade for him. I know he's hot.
I think
he's coming in hot
Nate
this year.
was going to send you a trade live.
I was thinking about sending him a trade
there we
live.
go.
I maybe still will. Maybe that's phase 2.
Tank Bigsby. He had a couple fumbles last year. Don't worry about it. He's going to get. He's working on his hands this year, and he's
working on his hands.
Please, someone take him, please.
All right, rate these in order of what your view is between Gibbs, Brees, and Bijan for top dynasty running backs. If there's somebody else that falls into your top 3, you can swap it out. But where do you put those?
So I put Brees Hall number 1. I think he's going to have a fantastic year this year. If Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, that'll definitely help. But if he can't, they finally have a legitimate backup with Tyrod Taylor in there now. And so I think whether it's Aaron helping out the offense and pulling the defense back, or it's Tyler Taylor kind of ditching it off and having Brees Hall run down the field, he's going to be number 1. Outside of that, remind me of the other 2. Sorry, I lost track of my thoughts there.
Brees, Bijan, and Gibbs.
Gibbs. I have Gibbs coming in number 2, and so hot take here. I was actually going to make this one of my hot takes. I personally think Bijan Robinson might fall out of the top 12 this year.
Of running backs?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Okay, tell me.
it is a hot take among takes. It's probably not likely. The more realistic view of it, I was trying to be hot takey there. The more realistic view is I think that Bijan falls out of the top 8 this year.
Okay.
Have never been a
That's still
believer
hot takey.
of
You
Bijan.
don't need to
Yeah.
go all the way past
Yeah,
12.
absolutely. I've never been a believer of Bijan. I don't think he was the legend that everyone put him out to be in his rookie. And I think that they're going to want to be a throw first offense this year. But we'll see how the offense turns out this year. But I just think that there's enough power on that offense outside of the running game and outside of Bijan catching the ball. That's going to take enough passes away from Bijan. It's going to take enough of the game away from Bijan that I don't believe in it. So I think Gibbs is a special player. I can see him coming in above Bijan, and so that'll be my rank is Hall, Gibbs, and then Bijan.
Are you saying that on
As an
Bijan
owner in
is that a like Kirk Cousins factor, or do you feel like just overall the way the offense is set up?
I could also just be feeling hurt from what Kurt did to me with the Vikings and Madison. I'm never going to let that go. I'm still angry about that.
Yeah.
But
they were the same player, interchangeable. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, but no. I mean, in all reality, I do think that they paid Kirk Cousins a lot of money to come in and throw the ball, and so I think that he's going to go in there. He's going to have a wild year this year. Coming off the ACL, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think it's just. I am also one where if the consensus is like super hyped about someone, I'm on the complete opposite side, and so everyone has always been so hyped about Bijan. I haven't seen it yet. I think we'll see what happens this year. He finished in the top 10 in the last year, so we'll see what happens this year. But I don't know. Well, I'm going to be on the outside. I'm saying at least outside of the top 8, potential for outside top 12.
Yeah. He was finished 4.56 yards per carry. So he was good in a bad offense. So I'm interested to see what comes out of that, and no doubt that you're going to clip this clip and save it if you're right there. I got just a couple more. We'll go fast through them. We've done the ranking piece here. Let's take a look at Devontae Adams. Is it over?
That's tough, man. At the end of the year, there with Pierce coming in and him just demanding the ball, but also at the same time want to be a team first player. I mean, he wants greatness. So we'll see if he gets greatness this year. But yes, it's over.
I love the build up, but it's over.
Yeah, it's done. So Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels in not this year, just in general for Dynasty. If you are not looking at value at all, just who would you rather just have and hold?
Oh, man, that is tough. I don't know enough about Jaden Daniels. Again, I'll go back to what I just said about the consensus with Caleb Williams being that consensus number 1 rookie. This last year of his college career was revealing, I think. So he had some big time years, but so did Johnny Manziel. And how did that turn out? And so we'll see what happens. He is in the best case scenario in Chicago. He's got all the weapons that he could ask for there, and so it comes down to now him doing what he needs to do and the coaching doing what they need to do. But yeah, I'm concerned about Chicagoing.
Yeah, fair. 2 more, real quick. Will Levis, is he him? Is he a buy candidate?
Hold on. Wait, stop. I never said Will Levis is him. That was like, watch the tape, go back. Right. I've had two moments of clarity on Levis where I said, one, they're setting him up to at least be a top 15 quarterback. That was really early on before, I think it was one of our first episodes. And then later, I think he's worth buying low was my other take, because I believe that he has a potential to be a starting quarterback, or at least a streaming quarterback option for you.
Are we talking NFL or
fantasy?
So if he can stay healthy, he I think has potential to be the next Jameis Winston. I think that he's gonna air the ball
for
out.
The Browns? No, okay.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a difference between fantasy football and
Yeah,
real life
Hmm.
NFL football. And so,
fair.
Jameis Winston's, scoring what, 31 touchdowns, or 31, what was it, 30 and 31 touchdowns,
It was
31
something like
turnovers.
that.
And so I think he can air the ball out. The dude has an arm. He can run the ball, which is obviously great in fantasy for a quarterback. If he can stay healthy, they have, I think, Pittman. I love Pittman. I think he's a great receiver. They have some weapons on that offense. So is he him? I don't know about that, but I think that he could be a decent, at least a streamer in 2024.
I've been hearing a lot more people talk about that too, Nate, on your side. A lot of people that I used to respect. So
And they agreed with me. That's great.
All right, last one here before we go into our mock draft mayhem here. Kickers are garbage and should be kicked out of fantasy football and the NFL itself. How do you feel?
Harrison Butler,
Mock draft time.
case in point. Just lock him out. Not needed anymore.
Just
I love that so much being the end
walked
to
away.
it. So this one again, fantasy footballers, shout out. This is a mock draft mayhem. In the mock draft, we will be doing a startup mock draft, one quarterback PPR. We've got 2 flex, no kickers, no defense. And with this piece here, we're going to do as many rounds as we can, but we have 3 different mayhems that Saylor will be able to do. I'm drafting from the 7 spot. Nate is drafting from the 4 spot. And before we hit draft on a player, we must confirm with Saylor that it is okay to draft. And he has 3 things that he can do each one time to each of us. The first mayhem is, and it must be within reason here, but choose a different position. The second one, co-host can choose for the other player. And the third one is Saylor. He can choose for us. He can do them in any order he wants. We don't know when it's going to happen, and he also said he has some other ideas too. We'll see what happens in this mayhem here. So, are you guys ready to kick it off?
I was going to ask clarifying questions, but I think I'm going to roll with the mayhem. So let's just go.
Love it. Cool. All right, let's do it.
Mwah.
Starting the draft.
Wow.
Oh, I should have turned off the sound there.
Wow, that's starting off hot. Some hot takes here. So
All right, so we got Saint
Brown, number 1. That's surprising to
hot.
me, honestly.
that is
Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb. That is a really tough choice for you now. Where are you going, Nate? And remember, before you select, confirm with the captain.
all right. So in this situation, just with how it's shaken out already, I think I would want to play hero ball here, hero running back, and I would be looking to take Breece Hall here with my first pick. Am I allowed to do that?
If you're allowed.
And no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I will allow it.
Awesome. Go ahead and grab Breece Hall here.
No, I think it's a
All right.
steal. And number 4, honestly, I think that Breece Hall is going to be a contender for a number of years. Going to be a great running back, and running back is a tough position to draft in Dynasty. So good for you.
All right. So right now I'm staring down. I don't mind doing hero on a build. But the 2 ones I would probably do that for have passed. Gibbs is on the person who I would choose in this moment, even though CMC is still in my top 5, even despite his age. I'm looking for a longer build, and I've got Captain Marvel here. So I'm going to go, if I'm allowed, I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. at the number 7 spot. Am I allowed?
Ooh, you are allowed.
Whew.
That's it. I think I want to say a hot pick there at number 7, but I guess it's an early pick for a rookie Marvin Harrison. I think. What is your thoughts on winning now versus winning for the future?
For me, I think my weakness is always looking too far in the future while I'm ready to win now. where I have a hard time trading, like for Derrick Henry, for example. I think is a great example of a running back that you could trade for. You could give up a mid to late first, and it's a fair thing to trade for because of how great he will probably be this year. But I can't bring myself to do that because I know that I'll never be able to trade him away. So I'd rather rent running backs in other positions, and in general, I'd rather stay fresher where the assets that I get, I'm not all the way to the point where I'm willing to get assets that are going to die with me.
That's fair.
What about you, Nate?
So who you taking on the turn here? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Nate, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've talked about this a few times, but when I'm drafting or just going through picks or even looking at trades, I think about everything in kind of a 3-year cycle. Like, where are we on player? Do I have players that are folks that either are in a situation where they're going to help me win in the next 1 to 2 years? I try not to think anything for this year. Of course, I'm speaking from a position of power, having a title belt behind me for the last 2 years in our Dynasty League. But
this guy.
But
that's the drinking.
But so I try to. I'm in a position where I can think that way, where I don't have to think, man, I haven't won in a while. Let me try to put it all in and win now. But I try to think of everything in that same 3-year cycle where let me get rid of them before that 3rd year's here. Let me make sure they can help me win the next 2. And that's where I'm at.
All right. Going around the turn there, we had after I selected Harrison, McCaffrey, Garrett Wilson, Gibbs, Hill, Puka Nacua, Laporta, Etienne, AJ Brown, Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, and now I'm on the clock. If I was allowed to make my selection here, the person that I would be choosing is Malik Neighbors.
What?
I'll allow it.
What do you say what for?
No reason.
What's that?
I like him more than Olave, which was the other wide receiver that I was looking at in that spot.
Sure.
I have zero trust, zero confidence in Daniel Jones. I think the Neighbors is a fantastic player, but he unfortunately is playing for just a terrible NFL team. And
I think he's bad enough
absolutely
that he
terrible
won't
quarterback.
stay the quarterback.
Yeah, and so we'll see what happens there in New York, but. It's I mean, hey, you're betting on talent, and we'll see if talent prevails.
Look, Daniel Jones is my other him, so
Stop it. No, you're
I'm
not.
done with all
No,
this Daniel Jones trash talk over the last couple years. Let's let him play one full season and figure out where we're at. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of.
I was gonna say, hey, I've lost all respect.
It's interesting. I mean, he went. It's like how our rookie draft went this year. I think that Arlen forgot that we're doing a startup draft here.
I know. These are my first 2 picks of our rookie draft. All right, taking a look.
Yeah, we're taking a look here.
Is Olave, Barkley, and then to you, Nate.
Yeah, so coming around on my second pick, following with what I want to accomplish, I believe I'm going to go wide receiver here. So if I'm allowed to go, I am going to grab Drake London.
I'll allow it. I was thinking about there. I almost did one because I wanted to kind of save you from yourself, but I'll allow
it. So he doesn't really like my pick here. We've kind of read that out. So after that,
a quick turnaround. Yeah, quick turnaround. Interesting. Josh Allen and CJ Stroud go. It's always so interesting to me with the dynasty startup drafts how early quarterbacks come off the board, especially someone like CJ Stroud, who obviously had a prolific rookie year last year. But from a fantasy perspective, I think CJ Stroud was not anything too crazy. And so I'm curious what you guys think about CJ and what Houston's looking like for this year.
Yeah, we just talked about that on the quarterback ranking episodes that we just did, and I have him a lot lower. I have him, I think, maybe at, was it 7 or 8? Nate, you had him in your top 5, I believe. But I think he's a sell candidate for me just because of the hype surrounding him.
I'm buying into it. I just feel like he, of course, there's always a risk having that one great, phenomenal start. You just talked about Justin Herbert doing that earlier where we had a lights out first season, and digress slightly. Not as insanely as people seem to think he is, but that's speaking as a Chargers fan. But CJ Stroud definitely could fall to that. People are going to figure him out eventually here. But I think he's earned it. And you can see all the players that are around him being made that much better by him. So I get the hype. But yeah, I do agree that he went super early here. So as we come to the turn, I am going to go ahead and grab Jalen Waddle if I'm allowed to.
I will allow it. I want to see your team construction here, so I will allow it.
All right. Well, you let me go deep without messing with me. Okay.
No, I'm getting real nervous. This is why I wore my clam shirt. I'm getting all clammy. So we've got, after Waddle, we've got Odunze, Lamar Jackson. I'm sitting here with 2 wide receivers. So this is about the time where I got to start looking at other positions, and it doesn't necessarily need to be running back for me. There is one quarterback that's I'd be willing to kind of take this high, and Jalen Hurts. So that's one person on my mind. I've got Achan sitting there looking at me, but I got one. I got a few different people that are on the same level for both running back, tight end, and right under Hurts for quarterback. There's a large grouping. So there is one more wide receiver, if I'm allowed, that I've been trying to trade for forever, will never get. Nico Collins, if I'm allowed, would be my pick here.
Oh, so sorry, Ari. Gonna have to come in with my first mayhem here, and I'm gonna give it over to you, Nate. So we'll see how gracious you're feeling today. I'm gonna let you pick Arlen's next draft spot here.
May I suggest Nico Collins?
That is a fun suggestion. But I do see that you are hurting. In your flex spots, you're building a wide receiver selection there. I think we have to change it up on your position. I think we need to fix that for you. And I know that you're a huge fan of this guy.
No.
So, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be that rude. I think here we're going to see how it shakes out with Josh Jacobs.
No.
Ooh, okay.
He's right there.
Josh, I mean, hey, he was a number one running back 2 years ago.
Yeah, the week after I traded him for James Robinson. All right, so Josh Jacobs, ew, that is like one of the last players I don't know why I hate him. I think that's why I hate him so much. Josh Jacobs and Achan, someone I would have rather have. Pacheco, same. Hurts, same. Man, you really did me dirty. I'll remember this. Kincaid, Flowers. So we had 2 tight ends. McBride and Kincaid went off. A few different wide receivers, including Nico Collins, who didn't make it back to me. So I'm on the clock here. I have a all-star running back, a couple good wide receivers. My wide receiver category right now, the tier that I have here, I have so many that I think at least one will make it back to me. Tight ends are pretty decent. I'm going to look at... I'm just going to finish off my running back. I'm going to go for... Oh, shoot, I already picked it. Were you letting me take a Brooks, or should I undo that?
We'll let you take Brooks.
Wow.
I think it's an interesting pick. I mean, Carolina, obviously, powerhouse last year. Brooks coming into his rookie year here. That's a interesting pick, I think. What's your thought there?
I'm looking for. I think he's going to be a top 5 running back value or close to it next year for
5.
Dynasty. I'm not saying that he's going to finish top 5 this year, but I think once the middle of the season happens, he starts taking over more and he's more healthy. I think he has the talent there to be considered the top 5 based on the competition there, how they have so many other holes to fill. I doubt that they really heavily invest in running back. And then going into next year as a dynasty asset, I could see him right around there. It could be 6, 7, 8, but like he's going to be in that top 10 discussion for many years. And I think that he'll gain value more than anything from where he is now. And I like that a lot more than Rashad White, Henry, Swift, Joe Mixon. Those are all players that are right around there that I think are going to lose a lot of value this year. So that's where I'm going with Brooks for a late season breakout and going into the second year.
I'm curious how
if you were going to plan on
you go ahead, Nate.
If you were planning on building for the future and just having a win later, I really don't understand your third pick, but it's fine.
Why? Yep. well, who would you pick here? Let's see what happens.
So if I'm taking a look here, if I'm taking a look here with who's on the board and just looking at my onesie positions, I'm thinking about tight end. I'm thinking about quarterback. It's a little bit further down the board for me, but I think he's not going to come back around. I'd probably want to grab Anthony Richardson here, but I've got a feeling that I'm not going to.
I'm going to let it happen.
Okay.
I got some other fun things. Fun things planned for you. So I'm going to let that happen. It's a little bit earlier than I would have picked Richardson, but to each their own. You got a quick turn here, so I guess that helps.
Yeah, so it's coming back to me here. Looking at who's left on the board.
Tight ends off the board there quick with Kelsey and Andrews.
And Kelsey and Andrews, Old Faithfuls, came off the board there. Looking at who's left here with a team while being interested in still winning this year, I believe, even though he's not going to do me a ton in Dynasty unless he proves us all wrong as he continues to do year over year. The unbeatable, unbreakable Derrick Henry is who I'd grab here.
I bet you would love to do that, wouldn't you? But I am going to turn this one over to Arlen to get the perfect person for this spot.
Let's see who that could be. All right, so looking at, you're pretty set at wide receiver. You've got a hero running back. You're just looking at getting another running back there.
A couple of big tight ends just came off the board. You had Laporta go in the second round. I really think tight end is going to go quick. So you're probably going to want to buy
this
get one here.
Influencing that's happening. I feel like Saylor's really leaning into reaching his power a little bit here.
So what I was really thinking about here is between actually, I'm just going to go tight end. I was going to go for maybe like a Ferguson. You spoke really highly on that, and I think he was like your buy now candidate. Was that right? On one of these episodes recently.
Was he buy now or buy low?
I think he was buy low, maybe, but you seem really into him, so I think I am not going to do Hawkinson, who would start on the pup. I think Ferguson is a great pickup, and I just want to do right by you, so that's what I'm going to do, going by your own judgments here and what you've said at this podcast on record. Ferguson is your pick.
That's messed up.
Wow.
Man. I'm just going to throw that out. He gave you Josh
Can we talk about?
You gave him Ferguson.
He's four down, right? So he's right around here.
Sure.
Can we talk about how
it wasn't that far of a stretch?
What a run in the
tight end
fifth round here. Kyle Pitts going next. Two picks later.
Yeah, that's a shame because I almost did Pitts just because you had Drake London there and to kind of double stack on the same team.
Leaning you towards.
I think he was, and then I looked down the list by a few spots and saw that gem. But actually it hurts me because Pitts was who I was aiming for because he was the last of a tier that I really wanted. So I think I'm punting the tight end position at this point, looking down the road, and I'm just gonna stick with. I'm gonna stick with building out my other spots here. So I'm between Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray. I think one of them will make it back around the turn to me, so I'm going to hold off on there. I have the opportunity to kind of grab like one more good running back that I feel would be a good staple, and then load up on quarterback, wide receiver, tight end for the rest of it. So I'm going to go, if I'm allowed, with Ramondre Stevenson.
Go for it, bro. You want the average running back on the worst offense in the NFL? I'm not going to stop you.
I want the pass catching guy that got a contract, and I like my Carolinas and New England's. All right, so after that we got Burrow that went Swift, Kamara, JSN, Henry, Worthy,
Derrick
Mixon,
Henry
Kamara.
off the board.
He's off the board. That probably was a better choice, but I spoke to how I have a hard time winning now. My selection, which I didn't think about the fact that for sure you'll be doing a mayhem on this one, so now I'm a little bit scared. It would be my selection here would be Kyler Murray.
Oh gosh, I had a quarterback in mind for you as well, and it's someone that you have gone to bat for. Just not
on
just
your roster?
not just who they are as a player, but who they are as a person.
No.
And so, I think who else but the at one time highest paid quarterback in the NFL but Deshaun Watson. And so I would love for you to put the Browns starting quarterback of Deshaun Watson. Listen, you're the one who loves him, not me. I'm just trying to help you out here.
He's not even on my team.
And so
that's sick.
I would love for you to take Deshaun Watson on your team right now.
Is that one of the things that you had up your sleeve? Dude, that is 10, 15 quarterbacks down. Okay. You know what? Let's do it. I am...
Listen, sometimes you got people in your league who are homers, and they love who they love. And Arlen, you love Deshaun Watson.
Oh, well, speaking to homers, at this pick coming around the corner here, I believe this gentleman, as we've talked about earlier, has the potential to be the number one wide receiver as far as receptions go, not fantasy points, amongst all rookies.
Don't let him do it.
So I would grab my boy Lad McConkey here, but I've got a feeling that's not an option for me.
Oh, gosh. Lad McConkey, great player. But I had another Charger in mind for you, actually. I see you only have one running back on your team right now, and I know that how could you miss out on the starting running back
choice of them
for the Chargers? I'm going to have to ask you to draft the Gus bus here and throw Gus Edwards on your team right now, because I just can't let you go another round without drafting another running back. So why not take the starting running back, RB1 for the Chargers,
right.
On a run-first team, as I mentioned before, and draft that Gus bus.
Okay. Well, that happened.
That's dirty.
That's dirty. All right. Well, that happened, I guess. I guess at this point then, I do have a firm belief in this wide receiver. I think that, talking about Chargers, we drafted Quentin Johnston last year, and he was a dud and isn't proving to be any better. But I think Brian Thomas is the second coming of the better iteration of who Quentin Johnston was supposed to be, and I've shared that a few times. So here I'm going to grab Brian Thomas unless I'm not allowed to.
Go for it. Yeah, I saw Lad McConkey off the board just before you, 2 picks before. So yeah,
you would have used that again, wouldn't you?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it would have been nuts. 2 more running backs off the board with Najee and Pollard coming to you, Arlen.
All right, so my this is really tough because I have Kyler Murray still sitting here.
You got your RB1, you got your QB1 locked in though. I mean, you're fine.
My QB2 is locked in. I'm doing real good there, and I feel really confident with the wide receivers that I can get coming up. I have a tight end need, obviously, and I don't like any of them anyways. So I'm just gonna go Kyler Murray and fix that travesty. Basically, just say that I didn't have a 6th round pick, and do Kyler Murray if I'm allowed to.
I'll allow it.
All right. That's fixed. I got my stack. The biggest piece here, tiebreaker between Jaden Daniels and that is Marvin Harrison Jr. being my first overall pick. After that, we got a couple wide receivers, a few running backs, a couple quarterbacks, and coming back around with no more tight ends. It's my pick here. I will still skip tight end. And I'm going to... Oh, man, this has actually gotten a lot uglier than I thought it did.
Sorry, Nate.
I will pick here. I'll pick here just to get my tight end off the board. And the last real one I like, I'll pick Dalton Schultz if I can.
Go for it.
All right, moving along pretty fast. We've got Chubb, Jane Daniels went off. Going to you, Nate.
Yeah, so here I'm just going to start loading up on reliable options for wide receiver. So if I'm allowed to, I'm going to go grab Mr. Christian Kirk.
I bet you would like to grab another wide receiver. I'm going to have to make sure you grab just a different position here, though, because you're looking a little too nice in that wide receiver position.
That's fair, I guess. Taking a look at the other options that are on the board right now, I think just for future case scenarios, I am going to grab Tajay Spears and continue to build my running backs, I guess, and keep those flex positions going. I know that Pollard's there too, but for the value, I'd rather go around later and grab Spears over Pollard where he went.
That's fair.
And it's back to me, so I'm going to go back to the wide receiver position that I was forced to get away from. But this time, I think I'm going to stack up. I think Chris Godwin has still got a lot to do. And no, changing my mind. I think I've got faith in Christian Watson and what he's going to be doing out there with Jordan Love. I think he's going to be solid. And back to who he was a couple years ago. Oops. Oh,
no, he didn't have any left for you.
Hopefully that was okay.
You're good.
Yep, he didn't have any left for you.
I'm all out for you.
He's all out. All right, I'm going to stack up, get a little bit more strength at running back. I'm between Brian Robinson and Zach Moss. I'm going to go Zach Moss, actually. Yeah, I think there's just more upside there.
That would be a great pick here. That would be a good pick here, actually. A good value in the 9th round. But I'm going to ask you to please select a different position.
That was my plan all along.
I kind of have a feeling for that. You only have 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... oh, man. I'm just going to do it, even though he's on the pup. But I really believe in this player. I know. Ricky Pearsall is my pick here.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That's who I'm picking here.
So interesting.
I like him too much. I know it's to a fault. I don't like my team that much, but I do like that player. I think we'll pause it here. Got through 9 rounds. We got every position filled. Just as a recap, for positions, we'll read out my quarterback. The only one I have is Kyler Murray. And then for wide receiver, I have Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors, and Pearsall, all rookies. Crap. Running backs, I have Jacobs, Brooks, Stevenson, and my tight end is Schultz. Nate, how you liking your team? Better than mine.
Not too mad at it. With a couple exceptions here. But starting with the quarterback, Anthony Richardson, I think he's due. I know he's only played 4 games, but I think he's going to be everything we want him to be. The hype is there, and I think it's real. Breece Hall and Gus Edwards, my running backs. Wide receiver, ended up with Drake London, Jalen Waddle, Brian Thomas, and one more running back with Tajay Spears. And then the wonderful Jake Ferguson, who I do believe in, but could have gotten much, much later.
If I had to pick one, I think Nate, fantastic team. I actually really like it. I think you did a great job there dealing with him.
Yeah, that goes to the champ there. All right, thanks for popping in, Saylor. I appreciate having you on. Nate, as always, great to see you. And we will continue this on. Saylor, you're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate it, boys. Thank
All
you.
right, y'all. Yep, for sure.